NFL awards just finished up last night, and multiple people won the awards that weren't really expected, although some were not surprising at all. I'm going to be going through all of the winners and saying whether or not I think the pick was correct, completely wrong, or somewhere in the middle. Now, there are a couple of not that important awards that I'll just zoom through quickly because they're the ones that nobody really cares about. So, Jim Brown Award for Saquon Barkley, most rushing yards. The flag players of the year were Daniel Berry and Josie Clayton. Megan Stefanski won Fan of the Year. Ben Johnson won AP Assistant Coach of the Year. Trey Hendrickson won the Sack Leader Award. Josh Allen won the Sportsmanship Award. The Latino Youth Honors were won by Sophie Gutron and Mariano Talmates. The Salute to Service Award was won by George Kittle. The Aaron Ground Players of the Year were Josh Allen and Jamar Chase. And the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year was Eric Armstead. After that, we will be going through every single selection, whether or not I think it was the correct one or that there was somebody else who should have taken the honors. We're going to get started with the Hall of Fame class of 2025, which consisted of Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp. Now, I do think that all of these are correct and that all of them definitely should be in the Hall of Fame. Although, there are people who aren't in the Hall of Fame that probably should be and probably should get their recognition. Because I think what happens is a year comes around and we focus on all the guys who are new candidates rather than looking back at candidates who should be in that somehow aren't yet. Now, I'm not to say that none of these guys should be, and they all definitely should be. Although I think it realistic that the NFL should add a Hall of Fame slot every year, make it 5 rather than 4, or maybe make it 6 at a stretch, because the Hall of Fame is very prestigious, obviously, and you don't want to allow everybody into it. But there are some people that just won't get that recognition because of how few people are admitted, even though they were super, super good during their career. For example, next year, Drew Brees, first ballot, Larry Fitzgerald, first ballot, among many, many others. But all the people from this year who didn't go in might be forgotten in the mix because of all the new candidates that are up to bat. Now, Luke Kuechly didn't get it this year. Eli Manning didn't get it this year, which I know is a very controversial one. But I am perfectly fine with the selection that they had here. I don't really know all that much about Eric Allen. The rest of them I know are really, really good. So, if anything, Luke Kuechly over Eric Allen or Eli Manning over Eric Allen. But other than that, that's not to say Eric's not good or that he's not a Hall of Famer. It's just that personally, I don't really know anything about him to make me think, oh, yeah, he's Hall of Famer, no doubt. Next up, we have the Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year, which I don't think really there's a debate about. The Jaden Daniels Hail Mary against the Bears. This moment killed the Bears and elevated the Commanders in a way that has never been seen before. So I don't think there was really any debate as to who was going to win this award. If I remember correctly, the 3 moments that were up for debate for this were this one, I keep saying JJ McCarthy. Sam Darnold passed Justin Jefferson, a 97-yard touchdown, and there was this one Lamar touchdown run that he had, or really big scramble, and then he threw the ball, and then it was cool. The Lamar one was stupid. It didn't really mean anything. The Sam Darnold one was really, really nice. Speaking of, snubbed of everything, apparently. But I don't think there was really any debate going into this one. This was obviously a correct choice by the NFL here. Then we have the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, which was won by Jared Verse of the Rams. I don't think there was anybody who was objectively better than Jared Verse this year. He was super, super good. You could make an argument for Braden Fisk, Cooper DeJean, the other one on the Eagles that I don't remember the name of right now. All those guys were obviously great, but I think Jared Verse made the biggest impact for his team. The sack totals for the Rams as a whole was just crazy high because I remember when they were eliminated from the playoffs in the divisional round, it was something came out that was like the Rams have 28 sacks during the playoffs this year or something. And that does not seem logical, but 28 sacks and some measure. The next closest team is half of that or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's crazy because their defense has played so well with these 2 rookies in Fisk and Young. Geez. I don't really think any of the guys had a chance. Maybe Cooper DeJean or it's going to annoy me that I don't remember his name, but you know who I'm talking about on the Eagles, that guy. Chop Robinson, okay, whatever. But this is definitely the correct selection here. Then we have the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, which was won by Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. Yes. I don't have anything else to say. I don't think there was any argument against this. Then we have the AP Defensive Player of the Year, which was won by Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos. This is probably the award that I was the most surprised by the winner, but that's not a bad thing because I wanted him to win because he's played incredibly well. So I was like, Pat Surtain, I really want him to win this award. And then he did. And I was shocked. And it was like, he actually won it because I feel like DBs don't really get as much acknowledgement. And I'm an offensive lineman. Like, I don't really relate to DBs all that much. But if you think about it, like most of the defensive players of the year are a linebacker, good defensive linemen, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really nice to see some DBs getting some recognition. The last one was, I think, 2019 with Stephon Gilmore. So I do think this was the correct selection. There are some people that you could have argued in there. But I would say this is a right choice for Defensive Player of the Year. I saw some people saying TJ Watt. No. That's all I have to say. And fun fact about the Steelers defense. Cam Hayward this year has as many pass deflections as Pat Surtain. Fun fact. Cam Hayward, the 35, 36-year-old defensive lineman for the Steelers. Fun statistic, I know. Nevertheless, we will be moving on to the Offensive Player of the Year, presented by Microsoft Surface, apparently, according to the NFL website. Won by Saquon Barkley of the Eagles. If he wasn't going to win MVP, he was going to win this award. This is similar to the Jaden one, where it's just, who else are you picking here? Like, name one good offensive player that's not named Saquon Barkley that deserves it over Saquon. Like, Derrick Henry, maybe. Jamar Chase, I think, was probably the only actual competition he had. And that's what I think is crazy to me is Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner, led the league in receiving yards, in receptions, I think in touchdowns, and balled out. No awards, no playoffs. And all in all, a pretty bad year. That's pretty weird to me. But back to Saquon. Obviously had a historic season. He's probably going to break the single season rushing yards record, playoffs and regular season combined. So that's really nice. But other than that, I don't really have much to say about this. It's Saquon Barkley winning Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think this is a real shocker pick, if I'm being honest. Then we move on to the Comeback Player of the Year. This is the one that I disagree with. Joe Burrow. And I understand that the NFL likes to change up some of their voting rules occasionally. And what they did, I think it goes into effect next year. It might have happened this year. You cannot win the award if you are not coming back from injury the previous season. And Sam Darnold wasn't doing that. And he got votes, of course. However, for some reason, he didn't get enough to win. And I don't understand that at all. Even Damar Hamlin, he wasn't even really close. Personally, I didn't want to see Damar Hamlin win the award because while yes, coming back from death is really cool, but it's been 2 years and he didn't really do anything. So, nevertheless, and back to my point. Joe Burrow came back from a hand injury, did okay, just okay enough to slightly miss the playoffs, get his team a bad draft pick, have the Triple Crown receiver, of course, the guy you're throwing the ball to all the time. But at the same time, really? Burrow? I know he was good, and I know he was an MVP consideration, but I really don't think that you should be giving him that award. Honestly, just have him co-win the Offensive Player of the Year if you're going to do that. Because there were, Sam deserved Comeback Player of the Year. Damar could have won it, and I just really don't agree with this selection here. Although, I'm not mad with Joe Burrow winning something because he's not going to win any rings. Then we move on to Coach of the Year, the second to last one. Kevin O'Connell won this one. I think this award is a very 50-50 ball because you can have, coach that is really good and is not really, surprising, and it's, not different necessarily, like Dan Campbell, because last year, really good. The year before that was getting good, and we've seen that he's obviously great. Or you can have coach who's okay, has a really good year, and elevates his team. And that's what won this year with Kevin O'Connell. I like Kevin O'Connell. I don't like the Vikings, but I do like Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell. So, oh well. KOC, I'm fine with him winning the award. This one goes right in the middle. as with the Joe Burrow one. Actually, no, that one's a full disagreement. And then the Saquon one is like in the middle, but veering towards good. I'm getting too far backtracked. This is a perfectly one in the middle because you could have Dan Campbell win this. Dan Quinn, I'm like shocked he wasn't even in consideration, really. Like leading his team to what he did, the NFC Championship game. I would consider that a pretty good year for a coach. But still, it's really nice to see him win it, leading the Vikings to something that they don't really expect, especially with an injured J.J. McCarthy. I can actually use his name correctly for once. So, all in all, whatever. Not complaining about it, but I'm not particularly happy about it either. And lastly, your NFL MVP of the 2024-25 NFL season, Joshua Patrick Allen. This one I was thinking about for a while after I saw it as I was watching the awards live, and I was like, okay. Because Josh Allen had a really good year. Like, he had a great year. And I don't think you can debate that. You can't say Josh Allen had a bad year this year. And Lamar Jackson also had a really good year this year. And if you look at the statistics, Lamar leads Josh in a lot of those. And that's true. And something that Ravens fans that I've seen are saying a lot of is like, oh man, Josh got, that's just a pity award for him for almost beating the Chiefs. And Lamar had way better stats. He should have won. And then if you look at last year, Lamar had worse stats than other people. He still won the award. Like, stats only matter when you're not winning. Seems a little biased to me, just saying. But nevertheless, I do think Josh Allen is the correct winner, personally. I think he brings more value to his team than Lamar does because the concept of the MVP is not best stats or most touchdowns or anything like that. It's most valuable. And I think the Ravens without Lamar are better off than the Bills without Josh Allen because the Bills have one Pro Bowler on their roster not named Josh Allen. That's Deion Dawkins, offensive lineman. And I know, I'm an O-lineman. I understand that, offensive lineman, all-pro, that's great. But I would much prefer, if I only have one, for that to be a quarterback or a receiver or a linebacker or something that will contribute in points. And offensive linemen, although I am one and don't want to be mean to them, they don't do that. And that means that not the greatest situation for him. Josh was throwing a Khalil Shakir all year. And I know he's great and he has a lot of yards per reception, but still. And if you look at the Ravens, they have a lot of all pros. They have Kyle Hamilton, Derrick Henry. Isaiah Likely was really, really good this year. Linderbaum went to the Falcons, so he doesn't count. But they have a lot more talent on their roster. So I think if you take away Josh and Lamar, the Bills would be worse off, which is therefore meaning that Allen is better. So I agree with this pick. I don't even have it in the middle. I fully agree with it. Would I have been mad if Josh lost and Lamar won it? Honestly, a little bit, because I do think it is his award. It's definitely Josh's. Would I have been mad to see Saquon? No, I would have loved to see Saquon. And realistically, he probably should have. But I do agree with the pick. Josh Allen is the winner of the MVP. And I completely agree with that. So let me just zip through them real quick. Allen, completely agree. Kevin O'Connell, kind of in the middle. Joe Burrow, kind of in the middle. Saquon, I don't know. He was super, super good, but I think he should have been MVP. And Jamar Chase should have won something somehow. I don't even really know. But there's so many people who should win that it caused a lot of problems. I would love if they had, an MVP break, two of them win. I remember that happened one year. Lamar and Josh both win, or Saquon and Josh both win, which allows Jamar Chase to get something just to recognize his accomplishments. But I'm getting too busy. Patrick Surtain, completely agree. Daniels, agree. Verse, agree. And the Hall of Fame class, kind of in the middle. And then Jaden Daniels, Hail Mary, agree. So I mostly agree with this year's class. Did you? Make sure to let me know down in the comments down below. Are you a Lamar stan? Are you a Saquon stan? Hi, Jack. I know you're probably watching. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on the channel. And goodbye.